So tell us who you are and what you do.
Greetings. My name is Clatta Bumboo. I am a recording artist with focus on reggae music. I consider myself a singer-songwriter. I produce, I executive produce, and I also publish. So I am an independent recording artist.
Independent, cool. So talk to me about where you come from and what the culture is like, and just the vibes. How do people work with each other, and what's the daily like feeling like of living where you come
Well,
from?
I was born and raised in Jamaica, specifically in the Western Parish. I am from the parish of Westmoreland. People who are familiar with Westmoreland, or people who've gone to Westmoreland and not, I know a lot of people have gone to Westmoreland and not even know they're in Westmoreland because they've gone to like a place called Negril, which is the coastline. Most people know Negril and not know Westmoreland. That's how I should put it. Um, I spend a lot of time on the beach. I worked on the beach. I played on the beach. The window to the world, so to speak. Negril is a tourist destination, so a lot of all-inclusive hotels. Tourist is the chief foreign exchange earner. How do people work together? Jamaica is an island, roughly 2.9 million people. So, an island. There's not much there's not much room on the island. So people, in order to live and live well, people have to communicate, collaborate. Um, Culturally, Jamaicans are sharing people. Uh, Nothing is too good to give to your neighbor type of vibe. I was raised in that culture, and yeah, people. It's not a matter of how people work together. People are together. We're literally on an island.
Yeah, I can imagine it's probably just like tight knit. Everybody knows each other type of vibe.
Yeah, word of mouth goes a far way in my culture. Everybody knows everybody's business, and um, like a complete stranger can go into the community and ask for Clatta. I say, "Do you know where Clatta Bumboo lives?" And somebody say, "Yeah, man. You go up the road and go around there. You pass the breadfruit tree, and there's a car on the side of the road. You pass that car, you make a left turn, and you find his yard." People aren't suspicious.
I imagine like when you're walking around, you're living life, people are blasting music all the time, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's that's a truism for Jamaica. Jamaicans love to play their music loud. Gospel music, country music especially. And if the neighbor likes Bob Marley and he's playing Bob Marley loudly, the person just one fence or one door apart will be playing Kenny Rogers and playing it loud. So as a child growing up, it's like your ears become seasoned with different genre at different volumes. Loud.
Are there a lot of parties?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You can consider Jamaica party capital, man. Jamaica, there's a party in Jamaica every night, and the parties are themed for the day. Some crazy names like Weddy Weddy Wednesday, um, Passa Passa. You know,
Yeah, I like that vibe, like the block party vibe. Some cities
yeah.
have that, but I know like different countries have a lot of that too. Just it's just ingrained in the
But
culture and the
in the
music.
Jamaican culture, there's a party for every minute,
Hmm.
and this is no joke. We're not making this up. In COVID-19, when the government had shut down the country and said no one can go out at night, there was a curfew. Curfew started like when sundown. Jamaicans got really creative and started to have breakfast parties. Like people will be fully dressed in their best at 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
Just like it's
yeah.
kind of day party. Run from like breakfast till late afternoon.
Hmm.
So the point I'm trying to make is even something as significant as COVID-19 couldn't stop Jamaicans from partying. A whole industry sprout up out of Jamaica during COVID-19 on social media platforms, especially TikTok, where people were partying virtually.
Mm-hmm.
Like the DJ was playing from his place and people were in their place
Yeah.
partying. That's the culture. The culture is very dynamic in that regard.
I'm gonna try to take you back a couple years. Do you remember where you were, what you felt, how old were you, or the vibe of the year when you first discovered that you realized you wanted to make music and you wanted to really have that be a part of who you are and have the world hear your music?
Well, um, when I wanted the world to hear my music is when I started recording it. And I started recording officially in, I want to say like 2016,
Okay, so
officially
yeah.
recording.
When did you fall in love with music?
Oh, man. Like, to allude to your question before, music is a part of the Jamaican psyche. Music is island people are, and I can say 100%, but I think to be safe, I would say 99.9% of these islands were once colonized. When you think of the Cape Verdean culture, there are like 10 islands in Cape Verde. And every Cape Verdean knows how to sing. And the same thing is true for Jamaica. If you go to Haiti, the same thing is true. The Dominican Republic, if you go to Cuba, anywhere Europe had colonized and they had put down Africans in those respective spaces, music and dance, song and dance is a significant part of how these people, captive people, survived captivity. And then you look at the church and the role the church plays in society and what keeps the people in the pews. Song and dance. So I knew I could sing from I was in Sunday school. And then I learned English listening to R&B. I had an Oxford Pocket Dictionary that I would use, not for definition so much as for spelling. How to spell the words I'm hearing on the radio, and especially in the summertime, I spent a bulk of my time listening to R&B, thus learning how to speak English. By the time I became like 14, 15, I was a sound system selector. So that's music. I was responsible for curating the songs. I would go to the record stores and buy the songs for the Extra Flex sound system. So I played music, and then late night in those sessions where I was a disc jockey, we would sing. We would sing on the flip side of the record, what they would call the rhythm or the B side. So I've been singing since Sunday school. When I moved to the United States of America, things shifted. One step back. After graduating from high school, I spent a lot of time as an entertainment coordinator. So I was handling music also. So, and singing was a part of my job description as an entertainment coordinator. I worked all-inclusive hotels. So I was in Sandals Negril for like my first gig. And then Couples Resorts, and then Sunset Beach Resorts. And by the time I got to entertainment manager, where I was managing the whole entertainment package, I was on stage a lot. I used to have to fill in for the cabaret performers, On a talent show night, which would be a Friday night in the all-inclusive hotels, I had my set. So by the time I got to the United States, I want to say in like 2006, 2007, music became a significant part of my surviving the United States. Because, considering the weather in the Northeast, reggae music became more significant. It became medicine. And that's when I decided, I want to say like 2016, I started to go into studio and say, yo, listen, I want to take this to another level. Meaning I would like to get my voice recorded, express myself as a singer-songwriter, and see if I can go into the marketplace, basically.
Yeah, I'm fascinated with like the idea of coming from like a small community like that, Jamaica. I don't want to say small, but an island,
Small is correct.
and you grow up. Obviously, everybody's idolizing the greats. You know, everybody's obviously Bob Marley and
Yeah.
a bunch of other people that probably most young men and women and older and everybody look up to.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably a lot of them probably have like a dream that they could do that too. Do a lot of people move like that? And when they see talent, are
So
people just like
yeah, so if
trying to find their talent?
so like especially in the United States of America, especially in the African American community, sports is like the conduit out of the hood, or the vehicle out of impoverished existence. In Jamaica, it's sports too, track and field. So like here in the United States, it may be basketball or football. In Jamaica, it's soccer and track and field and cricket,
Mm-hmm.
and then music. You know, when you look on Jamaica's position as it relates to popularity or name recognition, among the global sovereign states, Jamaica has a high ranking, and it's because of music, as you said, Bob Marley. So yeah, every youth aspire to be a superstar. As a matter of fact, I say, like Cape Verde, most Jamaicans know how to sing. We may
Mm-hmm.
not play an instrument per se, but we know how to sing. And we hear harmonies early.
Since there's so much talent that might go unrecognized, maybe people's whole life they don't even realize what they could do. What would you say is a good start to just like finding your talent and taking steps towards it, coming from where you come from?
Well, I say, formal schooling in Jamaica, it's, I want to say that it's mandatory for children below the age of consent to be in a classroom. It's what we do between ages 3 and 18, you know, um, preschool, elementary, which is primary in Jamaica, high school, secondary school in Jamaica, and then you have your tertiary level institution like universities here, same thing there. Most of these institutions has cultural programs. The church has cultural program. As a matter of fact, the only thing I liked about church was singing. You know, I never really dig the gospel so much as I would love to sing the songs. And most in those churches, most people don't really sing in key, or that's not the focus.
Mm-hmm.
It's making a joyful noise, basically. So I would suggest to anybody who recognize themselves as talented, join a youth club, participate in the choir. When you in the case of a child that's going to school, show up for orientation. Every morning in the Jamaican school system there is orientation, and orientation is about welcoming the student population. If there are any new policies within the school, in the school system, and then there's singing. So that's a good way to participate. Drama clubs, join the drama clubs, and yeah, just sing, man. Just sing and learn an instrument. If it's one thing that I messed up with as a child, I had access to pianos, I had access to guitars, but I just wanted to sing. So I would say to a youth right now, if you feel you have talent, expound upon it. Learn songs, learn the lyrics, write out the lyrics, develop your writing skills, understand words and words definition and definition of words, and recognize that it is only you who can actually develop your talent. So find spaces that are conducive to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a good understanding of different things and just maybe like communication and people. I feel like you have a good understanding of people's intentions and people's wants and the words people use and the meaning behind them. How did you develop those under people understanding skills?
Um, it's a good question. And thank you for recognizing that I do care about what people say and what people do. Because I do. It's very important to understand how to read a room based on the silence in the room. That's important. But it's more so important to be able to discern tones. Because a person can say I love you and it doesn't really mean that. Words are very divisive. And, you know, as I say, growing up in church, I left the church at maybe about age 10 because I couldn't get answers as to why Jesus' words in the New Testament, why was it printed in red? I don't know if you're aware of that. That in the New Testament Bible, the King James Version, when Jesus spoke, it's recorded in red. And it's so ironic that red is danger, is a and the person who we're supposed to be glorifying, his words are in red. It words words have always fascinated me because when your parents in Jamaica, when your parents want to give you a solid beat down and they cannot catch you to beat you down, they throw words at you, and tell you really harsh, rough things that no child should hear. I wish not to repeat them. No, because I don't want any child to hear those words. However, I understood that my mother didn't hate me, even though she said hateful things. And I had to define not just the words that she used, the context in which she used them, and basically discern why she would say something like that. And I would hear my grandmother say the same things to my mother, what my mother said to me, and I hear my uncles say the same things to their children. So I developed the understanding very early that words also are used through familial patterns, familial cycles. So number one, words shouldn't get you down. Words should be heard, understood, and then a choice of how we should react. My environment provided that as a tool. On the ball field with my peers. A man tell us like, suck your mother. Him tone matter. Or him gesture with those words matter. And if you were to take it for face value, you may end up in a fight. Because when a man tell a man, say, suck your mama, him really and truly want to start a fight. So coming to the United States also has helped me to know that not all statements are true, even when the person is standing right in front of you. So one has to be able to read someone's body language. Is it matching what that person is saying? And once I became more aware of word sounds, the effect of word sounds, I became, what I would say, more compassionate, more understanding, knowing that sometimes the silence are as loud as words. So yeah, my understanding is basically to be present, my lord. I just want to be present. And what I say is what I mean. Because I won't even remind my mother of some of the things she said to me as a child. And how wounded I am because of those utterances. So I understand that utterances do carry a lot of weight. Words, sound, power, it is called. It's a force. Language, linguistics, it matters. What you say to your friend matters. What you say to you tell a man you're going to show up, you better show up. It matters to show up on your word. And the value of utterances. If you value the words you speak, then your value totally just increase, brethren. So early on, my environment taught me that say what you mean and mean what you say. If you don't want to fight, don't tell a man to suck his mother. You know, don't diss a man if you're not ready to go the full length. So it's best to, it keep your mouth and keep your life. It's a Jamaican parable. You know, you're blessed with 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you speak. All those sayings kind of underscore the importance of choosing words. That's a mouthful. I don't know if it makes sense.
Something, yeah, it does. Something that fascinates me with like just like human dynamics, especially amongst just humans in general, men and women. But it's kind of like a segue. When you're a kid, you're in the street, you're hanging out with your friends. For some reason, a bully comes along the way out of nowhere. You're at the baseball field, a group of kids walk up. They're acting a little cocky. They start chirping off. They say little things. You don't even know them, and you don't know how to act as a kid. You know, you're inside. You're frightened, but you feel like you need to fight in front of everybody, right? But then as you get older, you become a man, and you're probably not going to fight all the time. But when you enter things like the music industry, right? This same thing is there. It doesn't go away. It just translates into a different way, and a lot of it is passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
A lot of it is posturing.
Yeah.
A lot of it is walking into a room and looking at another man like he's beneath you, or thinking your talents are better than his, or thinking he doesn't belong here, or jealousy, or girls, or money, or my art is better than his, I look better than him, or whoever, right? How should men move in life like this when they enter these spaces? Or maybe they shouldn't even be entering spaces where there's that kind of energy, but it seems like no matter where, like, you're gonna run into those types of things if you're trying to like network and move around people and get ahead in life. You know what I mean? Whether it's real estate or politics or music or whatever. You know,
especially in the music business or in the music industry. I mean, when I started recording, I made a concerted decision to not approach my music as an industry player, because I recognize that as a man of African descent who is living through his essence, a person doesn't have to hear you speak to condemn you. A person doesn't have to know your story to condemn you. If you present as I do, once you walk in the room, a man is going to say, oh, he's Clatta? Oh, he's a great singer, but I'm white. And that might come off as a bum, but yeah, if a man thinks that he's better than me because he has a lighter skin tone than me, that means there's nothing I can do under the face of the earth that will impress him. And if I do impress him, he finds that he has a responsibility to abuse me, to use me, to appropriate me. Yeah? And if I allow that to happen, then I become his slave. Where all of this behavior, the bully on the field, that's a slave mentality. Yeah? And often the bully is worst off. So right. How should a man move in this industry? You have to come from your essence, brethren, as I come from my essence. I come from my essence. I don't have the time to bullshit no guy. You dig? So I kind of find it difficult and very difficult to even pitch my music to a guy. Because for me, if I go pitch my music to a guy, I am going to have to try to convince that guy that he needs to somehow pass on my stuff or advance my sound. I had to come to terms with that very early, that in order to not deal with the rooms or deal with the energy of the room, just don't go into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Stay away from the building, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's the building where the bigwigs operate, but they're in the Champions League. They're playing Champions League ball. Who am I? I am a Sandlot type of guy. I have Champions League as, you know, aspirations. I want to be in the Champions League, but there are diligence to do. See, and when I increase my value in their eyes, and they come to me, then we can decide to meet in a neutral place. And I say all of that to say this: if a man is coming from him essence, him don't have to defend himself. Him just need to go through and live him life and do him do. Yeah? And know say, if his word sound, if a man a propagate and a promote hate, a hate is what I'm gonna receive. If a man a say love and unity, he may get hate, but at the end of the day, he can go home and sleep. Because him know say, him good, him think good. Him a deal with goodness. So I would advise any man, if you're not prepared to deal with industry, and you're not prepared to deal with servitude, and you're not prepared to give away your stuff, leave industry alone until it's time to deal with industry. Budding artists need to focus on building them catalogs. Build a catalog of solid music. Collaborate with upcoming professionals in the realm of industry. Not necessarily, but in the realm of industry. Young producers, audiovisual artists, marketers, other singer-songwriters, other talent. And as a person who recognizes that you have talent and has somewhat developed yourself, when you go into the space, don't go into the space as if you are the giant. Just go in the space. There's always something to learn. And that's what collaboration breeds. So those rooms are not, anytime a man say him get a record deal and him go into these rooms and him flip off him mouth and how him check big and all them kind of stuff. No, bro. We are aware. We're not foolish enough to know that a man is gonna give me 100 grand on a check, and then he's gonna tell me that I need to be in Bangkok tomorrow morning, and then I need to be in Dublin by later this evening, and tomorrow morning I need to wake up in Japan. Yeah? Come on, man. It's no joke, man, to be in those rooms. So understand your league. Understand which league you should be playing in. Don't rush the program.
It's probably the last question here. Is that good?
Yeah, man. Anything else, man?
So, can you talk about how important it was to believe yourself and when you started believing yourself the most?
I don't have a belief system.
Okay.
I know myself to be confident because I am confident. I know myself to be focused because I am focused. I attract and has an affinity to pureness. You know? So a person who is pure at heart and is doing things and does because it's for them, of them, and they live in it. It's one of the truism of existing as a human being too. Just like how you see industry would attract certain people, and the bully father was a bully, and him great grandfather was a bully, and then him great grandfather was a slave master.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of the same vibes with goodness.
Right.
You dig? Just like you have generational pain, generational curse, and then you have generational blessings. You know? That gift that keeps on giving, and it's understanding that you're existing like the other man is existing. He may have more than you, but so what? Just goodness right across the board. Come from your essence right across the board, and I think that is the trick. Huh?
I actually have one more question. Last one. And I hope I don't say this the wrong way, but like, what does it mean to be Rasta?
What does it mean to be Rasta? Yeah, that's a good question. What does it mean to be Rasta? No, Rasta, Rastafari, Rastafarianism. Yeah, it's a melting pot of confusion, and one has to look closely and be very careful where they align and how they align. At the root of it, His Majesty Emperor Selassie the First, late Emperor of Ethiopia, was recognized by a Jamaican, Leonard Howell, to be the king of, well, the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. Yeah? And why did Mr. Howell take that route? He was a ship hand, a deck hand. Maybe he had a higher rank, but I know he worked on ships. And he left Jamaica and was going around the world. Under the time of colonial rule, King James was in charge of the island. He recognized His Majesty Emperor Selassie as he was crowned King of Kings and thought it was a great idea to bring home this great news. We don't have to serve the white man in England anymore. Here's an Ethiopian who is actually the King of Kings, and he looks like me. So, white man can be him king for him, white people them. We want a black king. That's the basis of Rastafarianism in Jamaica. And then you have different sects. You have 12 tribes of Israel. You have Bobo Shanti. You have Naya Bingi. Different houses. It can be very churchical in the sense that people still go to church and they read the same Bible that Christians read. For me, Rastafari I happened to be Rasta by default because I start to live through my essence. I start to hold on to goodness. I start to hold on to peace. I start to propagate and promote love. And I grow out my hair. I grow out my beard. I eat clean. And I'm a student of His Majesty Emperor Selassie the First. I study his works. I study all the elders who came and left before me. I study their works to understand. I am still trying to understand what it is to be a Rastafari. I'm still learning that. But for the most part, Rastas in them orthodox faith says you have to see His Majesty Emperor Selassie the First as God in order to be Rasta. I say no. See yourself. See your neighbor. See your friend. See your brother. See your sister. Promote a certain kind of living. Peaceful, loving, giving, reciprocating. To me, that's the actual basis of what it means to be Rastafari. As I'm learning what it means. Your words should mean something, should have value. Your words should match up your actions, you know. Upstanding. You walk with a heavy aura. Your chakras are aligned, you know. Rastafari.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I see it in my learning.
It sounds like good stuff.
So
Powerful. Well, hey, I appreciate you being here.
Respect.
I think you do some good stuff. You make some good art, and I appreciate it. Do you just want to let people know where to find you or anything?
Well, I can be found on all the major DSPs, Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, YouTube, anywhere you play music from, you can find Clatta Bumboo. Them have the Instagram thing. I'm over there too, and on the Facebook. My government name is Sheldon Townsend, and I've maintained that in my online presence because, yeah, I went through formal school in Jamaica, and there are thousands of people who knows me as Sheldon Townsend. Clatta Bumboo is a new moniker that I have taken on. Yeah, so on Facebook there is Clatta Bumboo and Sheldon Townsend, and on Instagram there is Clatta Bumboo. Man, put it inside of your search engine, man. You know, just put in CLATTABUMBOO. AI knows who I am, man. AI will help you.
Clatta, thank you.
Bumbo.